so such an idiot. I have to press record. I'm so such an idiot.
You're such an idiot. So what does it matter? When we do this, do you guys look at the camera, or do you look at me, or do you look at yourself?
I look at you guys. I hide myself.
I look at myself, and then I sometimes look at you guys.
And yet you don't identify as a hot person.
No. I identify as having a nice sounding voice.
Did Will hit you up for that thing? Never mind. I think we went with someone else.
Wow, I can't wait to hear. I'm adding that to the conversation list for you in 1 minute. Wow, hello.
Now we have... Oh, shit. My mic's too hot. Now we've started. Oh, fuck. Hold on. You guys start talking. I got to figure something out with my mic.
Just seconds before we started, Sam said, Sarah, did Will ever hit you up for that thing? And I said, what thing? And he said, oh, I guess we went with someone else. What thing? How is that possible?
We were gonna use your voice for like a Simple Town cartoon.
But you found someone
We found
better sound. Yeah. Something more of the sound that you're looking for. Maybe not better, but just more.
We're going with Megan Stalter.
I fixed my sound. Hell yeah, baby.
Hell yeah. Welcome to the fucking show, dude.
Nice.
Wait, we gotta do one more thing. Damn. Like, story of my life with this pod is like really just spending all my time doing technical support.
Yeah. And he doesn't
you're
ask
funny
any
too.
help.
You're funny too.
Funny too. You're funny on the show.
There was a lot of debate back and forth in the text threads about whether we should use you or not use you or go with someone else, but we eventually went with someone else. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool of you guys.
No, you know what though? This is news to me. I thought that we were going with Sarah. When was this decided that we weren't?
I think we're going with Megan Strickland.
When was that
Megan
decided?
Strickland.
That was floated as an idea, but was it decided?
I think Will was like, I think Megan Strickland would be really good for this part, and we were all like,
Will said Megan Strickland would be really good for this part. That's it. That's all he said. Was it decided that Megan Strickland would be the part?
Got the part. She got the part.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know what I was thinking about? Like, I never expect to be thrown any bone by Simple Town or you guys, because there's nothing you have to gain from me, like doing me any favors. I already give you everything I possibly can from my heart.
Are you
and my
kidding?
friendship.
You have like 1 trillion friends.
Yeah, I guess in terms of
who follow you loyally into whatever content you make.
That's true. But I just feel like socially, I bring my friends to the show already, even when I'm not in it. So you don't really need to.
Well,
there's like 9 people listening to this, and all of them are Sarah's friends.
Totally. Sarah,
what's up, you guys? I miss you all.
It's funny to think. I mean, now, Sarah, you've sort of been woven into the great tapestry of our artistic collaboration to the point that you're on the Raisin Man Twitch stream. But when we first met, the way that we first met was that Simpletown was doing the solution to climate change, and we had you dress up in a skin tight green man suit and douse us with water.
That's right. We were not friends.
No, not at all. And we had no time. I had no time to talk to you.
Yeah, no one was really nice to me.
No one was nice to you?
No. Busy. Yeah. I mean, no one was mean to me, but no one was nice to me.
Okay, that's enough for me.
Yeah, and I remember meeting Ian. I especially hadn't met Ian before, since he's like doesn't do stand up, and I didn't, and he wasn't part of your guys' live performances, and I was like, huh, I wonder like what this guy's deal is and like how he's sort of like related to the group, but he's not like in the group on the regular performances. And now all these questions are answered. You know, that's just such a stupid question. He's
Even then, you knew he was a little weird.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys want to talk about? I want to talk about Chrissy Teigen, Allison Roman beef.
Well, I was gonna say, Sarah, I know that you got something in the neighborhood of 88 discussion topics teed up.
So we might not have time for Would You Rather, guys. All the Would You Rather fans out there, we might run out of time.
You just wait. Who is
I'm
I'll follow you. I'll follow you wherever you need to go.
So I'll have something to say about it.
So I can say this Allison Roman thing. Do you guys know who Allison Roman is?
I know a little bit about this, but I'll tell you the truth. I'm down to talk about it. On first glance, I don't care about it. But if you give me a sort of an interesting enough take, or like why should I care? What is this about?
What is this about? Well, I'm happy to tell you. And I think it's funny that you wouldn't be interested in it. I think that's what's funny about talking about it. You know, why would we discuss this? It's like not something that anyone would come to our podcast to hear an opinion on. Allison Roman is a food writer for the New York Times. She has an extremely popular cookbook called Nothing Fancy. She's like a rising star. She's about to get a Food Network show. Maybe she's lost it. She's been canceled is where this is going.
She got burned.
Yeah, she got burned. So she did this interview with, I can't even think of what magazine it is, something important. And she said in it, you know, her star is rising and she's got these choices now if she wants to make like big deals for a lot of money, to do product lines and like advertising and stuff like that. And she said that she didn't want to, and she doesn't respect it when people do that. And then she called out Chrissy Teigen and Marie Kondo for being two like lifestyle people
horrific
who sold out. And like, yeah, because like Marie Kondo especially does room organizing your stuff, not having too much stuff, and now she has like a Target product line or like something like that.
What's the Target product line? Is it things that will help you get rid of things in your house?
Maybe. I'm sure. Let's look at what her stuff is. But anyway, so she got canceled, Allison Roman, because Marie Kondo
Felipe,
and Chrissy Teigen.
The part.
Go ahead,
What's up, Sam? Cut in with the funny thing that you were going to say.
The part that you're supposed to be paying attention to is the part about selling out. That's how it relates to you. Okay. So
be careful.
You're asking questions about the wrong thing. All right. It's the selling out part that.
So the selling out part's the thing that I should care about.
Yeah. Yeah. Is
this a thing? I'm just finding out that this is part of the tapestry of things that you think about me. You think I'm going to sell out?
No.
You think I'm going to sell out?
I'm just thinking about Sarah. You at the beginning of the story, you said, "How does this relate to me?" And Sarah had a kind of big promise that it was going to relate to you. So I'm searching, as you should be, searching through the story, every fact, and thinking, how does this relate to my life? How does this relate to my life? How is Sarah going to loop it back into my experience?
Yeah, you should get there before I get there. Otherwise, you're going to be sorry.
Well, it's true that Raisin Man started as a completely punk rock outfit, and now we're selling merch, including a raisin.
Now that we're on BuzzFeed.
Now that we're on BuzzFeed, I'm trying to sell a raisin.
A raisin on a keychain. A raisin in a little jar.
But it's a real like perishable raisin. And it gets full of hairs and dirty and dusty, and like you can step on it in your house and it becomes this like brown dot. I do want to keep talking. I want
to give you the space to do the bits you want to do, dude. And I'll just
we gotta go down an alleyway here. We gotta go down an alleyway here, and we'll come back to Chrissy Teigen. Don't let me forget that, Sarah. Do not let me forget this. But I think this is a worthwhile alleyway to go down. Which of us do you think is the most susceptible to selling out?
I think I'm the least susceptible.
You're the least susceptible.
Certainly.
But interesting. Would have been a good answer if what I had asked was who is the least susceptible. This is not what I asked, however. I said who would be the most susceptible.
Most susceptible. I guess Sam.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that correct?
Oh, I think so. I think that's right.
You think you'd be the most susceptible? I was getting ready to go up against the firing squad. I thought that you were gonna say me.
No, dude, I think you're
dude,
pretty.
you're a true
I think you're
artist.
pretty steadfast. Yeah, you've already had a million opportunities
To sell out. He has, and he
You
just
have it.
turns them down
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's kind.
So-
That could be, but
because you have too much integrity.
yeah, I mean, I guess
Felipe
way I
was
feel
going to
about-
animate the Super Bowl halftime show for Coca-Cola and Chevron.
I got asked to animate background visuals for a Justin Bieber concert, and I said no, thank you.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber is for little girls.
Yeah.
Little girls. It's funny though because I don't think about it as principles. The reason that I've turned down different things that have been given to me is because I'm too scared. So and this might be the case with apparently the singer of the Smashing Pumpkins had this famous interview where he was like indie artists are too afraid of success. The Smashing Pumpkins I guess sold out. I don't know. I only know one song by them, and it was in the Watchmen soundtrack when this Zack Snyder Watchmen came out. But
1979. I don't know. Keep going.
What the name of the song? Is that the name
Yeah.
of a Smashing Pumpkin? No,
I
it
think it's-
it was called like The End is the Beginning is the End or something like that. The beginning is something like that. Anyways, but it's like it's not out of principle. It's mostly out of like I don't want to
Out of
do
fear.
it and fear like it's just I'm not going to like it. It's going to be bad. I mean, I guess that's a kind of principle, but I don't feel like it's like I'm sacrificing anything when I do that.
That's interesting. I feel like you have a narrative about yourself sometimes that's just like that you're a coward, and I don't really
100%. I'm a big coward, huge coward. I'm afraid of
I
everything.
don't see it at all.
I don't see that either.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's 1,000% true, dude.
I live in fear. I wake up, all I think about is how afraid I am of everything.
And had a matrix to avoid fear in your daily actions, so that you don't have to.
I'm glad to hear you say that, though. Yes, no, 100%. I live in, it's just fear, pure fear.
Wow, that's really wacko. To think that that's what's motivating all of your choices. They seem motivated by my bravery and integrity and vision. Yeah, so confusing.
Yeah, I'll think more about that. And I'll
Sam
get
would
back
sell
to
out,
you.
I think. Yeah.
As soon as I get an opportunity,
Yeah.
the moment it comes.
Well,
yeah, I already work for a company where I already like work for like big bad companies. Like I already
Yes.
sell my services to them.
yeah, but I mean, have you worked on a sellout job, Sarah?
Yes, I worked for a venture capital incubator. I signed an NDA, so I'm trying to remember what I can say about it or not. But yes, I have. It sucked.
City Water Radio saying lizard brain mode, just fear and reflex. Indeed, this is how I live my life. But let me ask you this, Sarah. Wasn't the venture capital firm socially conscious investing?
Socially conscious. Yeah, it was.
You're
But
good,
I
baby. You're good. That's
Yeah.
as good as it gets.
Yeah, I just remember, I'll say this, I guess maybe this doesn't violate my NDA, that they really wanted to sell the employees on working for not that much money on the idea that we were doing something good. And I was like, this isn't even a nonprofit. What are you talking about? That like I should be,
That's so funny.
yeah, thinking that this is all for a good, like, what the fuck? It was such a like uncanny valley, like gaslighting culture. So it sucked. So I thought of it as sort of a selling out thing, but I sold out for very little money in that sense because I didn't really make that much. But Sam's making money.
Sam's making big bucks. He's making the
So-
big bucks.
But the thing about oh, you know what's actually funny that this reminds me of? Last night I was watching an interview, Amy Sedaris interviewing Stephen Colbert on his own show, a little reversal.
Okay,
what you
two
would
big
expect.
sellouts. Only one of those guys is a sellout.
Only
Amy
one.
Sedaris is a queen.
Yeah, really she is. She's like a folk hero to me because it's like she doesn't even have a body of work that most people are familiar with, and yet she's a celebrity. I'd love to see like her financial statements, like what pays her bills. how does she stay afloat?
Reruns of Strangers with Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's flush. She's flush with that Strangers with Candy money.
Those Target commercials for aprons. I guess she's a sellout. Yeah.
So she was interviewing Stephen Colbert.
She was interviewing Stephen Colbert, and it was so joyful watching them talk and hang out and like have fun on TV. And it made me miss being a little kid who really like bought into like Saturday Night Live behind the scenes, like institutional nostalgia, like successful rich people having fun together and being like, oh, they're like my friends, you know. I don't feel that way anymore. I hate that stuff, and I'm incredibly skeptical of it, obviously for good reason. And it just made me miss being able to aspire to even being a person like that, because now I'm just like, oh, I'm so against this kind of thing. I can't.
Well, I've had kind of conflicting feelings about that, because on one hand, anytime I'm in like a company or like a job where they're trying to make me feel like I'm having fun, I get really mad. Like I feel like I'm being tricked. Like they're trying to trick me into having fun at the job and like exploiting me even more. So that's on one hand. But on the other hand, it's like, well, do you want like, and this is kind of a bind. I'm not saying that it's the correct thing, but it's like, do you want to be unhappy all the time? Like, sure, it's lame to think your job is fun, and sure, it's lame to think that like, and this is tangentially related to what you're saying, because I'm not talking about thinking that SNL is funny or whatever. Like that's a sort of separate thing, but it's related in the sense of like, okay, these are big like money making whatever. Are they genuinely like, do they really bring human things into our lives, like the joy, the real joy of like interaction and the real beauty of being alive? And so when a company makes me feel like I'm having fun, I'm like, oh, fuck you, you're just trying to whatever. But at the same time, it's like, like some people do work here for like years, and like, are you really gonna try to be unhappy and like not allow? I mean, I guess it's up to each individual person and whether or not they truly enjoy like the company of their coworkers.
Wow.
But you know,
I
it's
feel like you're having like moderate person's drift. Like when you're young, you're like cynical and you're like, oh, fuck all of that stuff. It doesn't matter whether it brings anything good or not. It's inherently bad. And then you get older and you're like, or maybe there's some certain nice things about it. And
I mean,
I guess maybe I'm misinterpreting what you're saying.
No, I mean, it's like we all live under delusions, right? Like you could peel back the layers of reality and be like, everything is bad. Like we're like careening towards
and badness is truth, and the more negative I am, the closer I'm getting to what reality really
and it's
is.
Like, and it's like everybody has like that delusion, that like veil of illusion that allows them to be happy. So if that veil is like my workplace is a family, like I could understand someone's veil being that and choosing for that, you know, choosing to take the blue pill. But, you know, workers should unionize, all that stuff. But that's, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yes. So where does that leave us? Should I explain this Chrissy Teigen, Alison Roman thing?
I mean, we went down, I mean, I think you should finish it. Yes.
The Chrissy Teigen Allison thing is going to be like an arc for the entire podcast episode.
As we sort of make our way through it, like the desert.
Exactly. Yeah. The final period will
Yeah.
come only as we press stop recording.
Okay, then I won't rush it. Yeah, I'll respond to what Felipe said and say, yeah, I feel you. There's nice things, there's nice jobs, but I kind of just like have what's the line from Batman? You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain, or that's a Jay-Z lyric or something, but it's about Batman.
Is that, I thought that was does that really come from Batman?
I don't know. I can't think suddenly where it comes. People in the comments, is that Jay-Z or is that from Batman? I don't know.
Let's get a W in the chat going as well. Once you answer the question, get a W in the chat going. L for respect.
Batmobile.
Yeah,
I think the Joner,
like
City Water already saying, I think the Joner said that.
What is that? Then someone else in the chat tell me what that means.
You want to know? You want to know how I got these snars? I'm the Joner, baby.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if this is exactly what's responding to what Felipe's saying, so let me know if it isn't. But I think you can kind of reluctantly be forced into fun, or if fun is mandated, you can like say, no, I'm not going to have fun and drag your feet. And dragging your feet is precisely what makes it fun for you. And you can still have fun in the like organized event.
Sam, that has nothing to do with what Felipe is talking about.
Like Sarah, like the way
Sam,
you
drop
could
out.
have played,
Sam,
you could have
retire,
played the
bitch.
board game last night, and you could have had fun.
All right,
Like
let's get that in.
reluctantly had fun.
We wanted to play a board game, and Sarah didn't want to play the board game.
And I said no. I was starting to dread it 48 hours in advance, and I was so drunk on Friday night, and I like opened up and I saw on Twitter the chat was going on about like the plan for the game, and I was like, there's still enough time if I just say no now, I can leave.
Well, hear the tragic irony. Hear the tragic irony. Sarah did not want to play the game.
It sucks. Yeah.
And why didn't you want to play the game? Just set the stage. Why didn't you want to play the game?
I don't like games. I didn't want to learn the rules because I never played the game before. I didn't know how long it was going to be. Felipe gets really emotional about playing the games. I didn't want to see that side of him.
Sarah's been drinking for 48 hours to try and avoid playing the game.
I drank myself into the greatest hangover of my life. I've been comatose.
Woke up on Saturday and immediately started drinking again.
I didn't want to look at my computer. Nothing about the game I wanted to play. I did not want to play it. And I had encouraged the game early on only because Felipe had DM'd this Twitter group of like 10 people to be like, you guys want to play this game? One person, Kyle, said yes. And then everyone else was silent. So then to wake it back up and give Felipe that W, I said, yeah, I'll play with no intention of.
Wow. Well, you know what though? You revived that chat because then after that, everybody wanted to play.
And then I said, what my work here is done, and I stepped back out.
Well, the game was Pandemic, the board game, which is a board game about. Do you want to explain what happened, and then I'll sort of wrap it up with the final cosmic irony of Sarah not wanting to play. But Sam, please explain.
Wait, I have to explain?
Yeah, you explain, dude. You haven't been.
Yeah, dude, you haven't been very funny or said very much stuff. So I'm kind of teeing this up for you, so you can.
We're gonna
do
replace you.
Well, one of you kind of like do the long setup for a funny joke, and I'll just do the punchline for
Also,
it.
Sam, watch out because you're holding that microphone. It's gonna have a lot of like noise from you touching it and stuff. So
you're gonna win the bad audio award.
Yeah, you don't want to get the bad audio. Dude.
I'm looking at the levels right now, and it's telling me it's perfect.
Dude, your nasty greasy fingies are all over that Zoom recorder. Put it down, or I'm gonna come in that room and put it down for you.
It's telling me the levels are perfect. Oh shit, I'm peeking.
Dude,
now it's telling me the levels are perfect.
Dude, explain the fucking game.
Put it down, or I'm gonna decapitate you.
I'll
do whatever you want.
I'll do fucking Felipe's long ass setup so he can tell whatever punchline. Yeah. So he can knock it out of the park. So guys, this is what Pandemic is. Pandemic is a board game that you play that simulates a global pandemic. And the cool thing about it is you all play against the board game and on a team with each other, not against each other. And it's kind of cool, and you have different roles.
Oh, I didn't know that. Maybe if I had known that, I would have even been more willing to play.
Dumbass, stupid idiot. Didn't even look into it. Didn't even look into this beautiful game.
Said games are games are games are games.
Well, Simeon is saying that in the chat, he's saying that he tried to play Pandemic at a party and had to operate as project manager for the night, and it sucked.
Ah, damn. Damn.
Yeah, you get these kind of like late capitalist sort of like roles, like project manager or like logistics expert or things like that, kind of white collar jobs, and then you have to stop a global pandemic based on the different abilities that your job gives you. It teaches you how to be in the workforce.
Perfect explanation. So then what's the tragic irony?
You do get one job called research lab, and let's just say you do some early research into the virus, and let's just say that you put the virus out into the world. And let's just say that the research lab is in Wuhan, China.
Really?
Hold on. This just sounds like work. All right, everybody's popping off in the chat. The chat's red hot. Anyways, whatever. Maybe this was like a totally pointless byway to go down, but you said you
explain it for nothing.
No. Yeah.
It wasn't funny. You bombed, dude. You fucked it up. Not worth our time. You're still touching the mic, so who knows what finger sounds are going to be on the recording.
It's fine. It's fine as long as I don't touch this area.
No, dude. The whole mic picks up sound.
It only picks up sound up top.
No, dude.
I can't wait till Sam sells out and uses that power to exact retribution against Felipe for the way that he acts.
Look, dude, I'm going to tell you this. If the sound on your mic is fucked up, first of all, that's on you. Suddenly, anybody listening to the podcast is going to go, I don't want to hear Sam talking because he's got the little finger sounds. So you're fucking yourself up. But secondly, it's going to fuck up the whole thing because it's going to have little finger sounds.
Indie stars don't want success. Sam, put the mic
Yeah, you're afraid of success.
So I should put the input up really high and put it on my desk.
Yeah, and scream into the microphone as close as you can to it.
This is so annoying. Also, here's a little peek behind the curtain. We spent an hour getting ready to do the podcast every week before we start it, where all we're doing is testing the mics, talking into the mics. So there's no reason for this to be happening.
No, it's true, and I'll say this: I might just be kind of trolling. I don't know if touching it is a problem. It's something we could look into. I'm just afraid it's going to make little finger noises.
Exactly.
Can you say the tragic irony of the game thing?
Oh, just that you turned it down, but then we didn't end up playing, so you used up all your social capital.
Yes, it turned out the game could not be played by multiple players, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, apparently the stupid board game company hasn't made the game multiplayer. So I guess what it thinks you're going to do is play it like solitaire. Just be at your computer playing Pandemic alone, or worse, basically like sharing your screen with a group of people and having them tell you what to do and you play it. Basically backseat gaming. I don't understand. Seems like a huge fuck up.
But I could have said I was going to play up until the last second and people would have been pretty happy. And then
It would have been a gamble though.
Man.
You didn't have to spend your entire weekend drinking to avoid it.
So let's finish this Chrissy Teigen thing. What was that about?
Oh, weird. Yeah, I'll finish that up. I was thinking maybe we'd get to it in the second half of the hour. So Alison Roman accused these women of selling out. She got canceled on social media because Marie Kondo and Chrissy Teigen are both women of color and Alison Roman is white, and it was pretty fucked up of her as a white person to be like, you guys shouldn't get your bag. Yeah.
Totally, big time.
So people really don't like that. And Chrissy Teigen really tweeted herself and was like, Alison Roman, you've hurt my feelings. I was supposed to executive produce your Food Network show, and now you've hurt my feelings.
No. Did she know that?
I don't know. That seemed really surprising to me. I was like, how would she not know not to fuck that shit up? I have no idea. So all this happened, and Alison Roman issued a bunch of apologies for it. And said, I shouldn't, why would I tear down other people just to put myself up, all this stuff. And ultimately I think it's kind of annoying. I think, I wish that Alison Roman had picked the plentiful, white women who sell out to make these accusations of, because the idea of, this is what I think is relevant or interesting about the whole thing. She had to apologize basically for breaking celebrity ranks. I feel like Alison Roman didn't realize that suddenly she was famous enough that she's not just allowed to talk shit, how we were just talking shit about Stephen Colbert. We're allowed to say that now on our podcast, but if this was if we were actual successful comedians, pretty soon 6 months from now?
Next ep, dude, next ep, get it out now.
One more BuzzFeed write-up and we can't talk shit about Stephen Colbert
it's gonna
anymore.
Be an issue. But isn't that sort of interesting line? At some point you become famous enough that you have to be part of the stronghold of celebrities who all just kind of publicly jerk each other off in this way. And Alison Roman's point that a lifestylist person whose career is dedicated to reducing consumerism, having a huge product line, it is ridiculous. How could she not say that that's ridiculous? I mean, it just was annoying to me. I don't like celebrities pretending that they're all friends. I think it's funny because I think there's a lot of criticism of the culture around celebrity that's petty celebrity fights. Celebrities are such children, they're so immature. And I'm like, no, fighting is normal adult behavior. Pretending you guys are all friends and supporting each other, getting rich and exploiting people and not living your values that's immature and petty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where I fall on this. I mean, I think.
How is it supposed to relate to Felipe's life?
No, sorry, go.
It just, I don't know. I guess it doesn't. If you don't see yourself in this, then I don't know.
No, I could see myself in this. I mean, I think you connected it to our lives handsomely. I think I'm trying to come up with something interesting, something insightful, and to really engage with what you're saying because.
Here's what I think is that I think at some point you become enough of a celebrity that like you see other people in your other celebrities as essentially colleagues, that it becomes like the whole like world of celebritydom is like
Yes.
an extension of like a workplace environment.
Right. They're all
like,
at Ellen DeGeneres' birthday party. Like all the celebrities from across every genre and art form. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like the way you wouldn't like fight with a coworker or like talk shit about a coworker like publicly at a meeting in the office or something like that. It's like it's just kind of a bad look.
But I guess good.
Yeah, I guess that like I think most celebrities are smart enough to be like sort of diplomatic enough to be like, oh, there's not a lot I can gain by like feuding with people unless there's some like really sick like Machiavellian move I can make.
Yeah.
And
I guess my problem is that I just like resent their class solidarity then, because like they have that effect of getting each other to kind of line up and work together to protect their shared interests through performative.
Hold the phone. I'm confused. I thought you didn't root for the woman who talks shit.
No, I do root for that. I don't root.
You root for the woman who talks shit.
I root for Alison Roman. Yeah,
You're just saying she fucked up by choosing the wrong target.
Yeah, she should have chosen people. She should have chosen other white people probably, and people who better exemplified like the point she was trying to make, rather than go for like Marie Kondo or someone. But the point that she was making is so valid. And as someone who wasn't a celebrity recently, she could have made that point. And I think that like I wish that celebrities could call each other out for their shit, because like I think a lot of fucked up stuff happens in their culture. So yeah, I guess that wasn't clear. That's what I'm saying.
No, I hear you. I mean, I think
I think that's crystal clear.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say that as an audience member, I like it when someone's spicy, in terms of the what's called the kayfabe, the
in wrestling,
the fiction that these people are fighting, when in reality they're all doing it as part of a show. So I mean, obviously that's not the case here, because Chrissy Teigen got her feelings hurt.
Yeah.
Or but
and she was the executive producer.
Yeah, what was that about? Did she know that?
I have no idea. It's like a weird little wrinkle. That's like also all the celebrities are like co-signed on all of each other's shit. So not only do they have a performance of like solidarity, they're also all linked up financially.
Watch me sell a show, and Sarah is the executive producer when we're like older, and I'm like, yeah, Sarah Wilson like sucks ass. Like,
she didn't want me to do my bits.
Yeah.
She didn't want to do bits. She wanted to have insightful conversations on the pod, and you're like, I'm executive producing your thing. Abort this bit.
I'm sorry.
Sarah is a woman of color also as well in the future.
That's not true.
You can say it. You can do it for the bit. You can say something that's not true for the bit.
For the bit. And then when we get to the end of it, I can say that we're just kidding.
Somehow, the technology.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is that I often wish that I could, because the truth is, when we talk, we just talk shit, as most people. Oh, I got a little fly in my room. I've been having this thing where I think I see dots in the like periphery of my vision, and I'm like, I don't want to look into what that's about. I'll like see a dot, and I'm like, oh, is there a spider on the wall? And it's just like, I don't want to find out what that's about. Don't tell me. That's
funny. I was thinking earlier, I was taking a piss, and I was just like, I should just be thankful today that like there's no blood in my pee, my body doesn't hurt, like nothing is wrong with me at all, as far as I can tell. And I usually don't take time to be thankful.
Dayenu, as the Jewish people say.
What is that?
It means, and that alone would be enough. So if you say, hey, I'm living with my roommate Sam, who I'm great friends with, Dayenu, and that alone would be enough. But also, I'm healthy, Dayenu, like, and that, I don't know. It's like, I think it's like a Passover thing.
Sarah, you took a piss and you were like, God, thank God my body is healthy and working so well. And then you went to the fridge and you took out a bottle of Kahlua. And you started chugging it, knowing that the weekend was fast approaching.
And then I had to put a stop to it somehow. Yeah.
Damn. I just imagine like going to the bathroom and peeing, and just like this beautiful fat stream just coming out, beautiful, just clear stream, and you're just watching it in slow motion. You think, damn, that is so good. I love that stream. It feels good. It looks good. It smells right.
It smells right.
Just
it's
a
exactly
nice, fat, healthy pee. Well, no, I was just gonna say that we like talk a lot of shit, and I wish when we did these recordings that we could talk more shit because it makes people want to like tune in or whatever. Like I wish we could be meaner or something. And the truth is, personally, I don't know about you guys, but like I'd like to say some stuff, just be like mean or something, because that's like fun,
Well,
but also, I can't handle the heat.
No.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in being mean in a public way.
It's also like maybe so far as like moving away from mean, like I don't know if it's necessarily mean to say like, oh, I don't like this thing about this person, but also talking shit is like a fun way of just like elucidating like a thought you have about the world, or like a belief you have. You're like, oh, I don't like this person, and it's because of this thing that I actually do like. And so it's a fun way to sort of bounce your own ideas back on yourself.
Well,
Yeah.
So when I was at art school, one of the things I got the most pleasure out of was going to see the senior show. I mean, maybe this is like beyond the pale of something that I'm not calling anything out in particular, but like going to the senior animation show and watching stuff and like hating it. And it was so, and I think there's like a pleasure in being mad and in hating something, but also it helped me articulate exactly what I didn't want to do. And it was something, and it was sometimes more valuable of like an artistic experience than stuff I liked.
I've ruined many a date by like watching a movie with a date and talking about how much I hate the movie that we're watching, and then being like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you trying to ruin this? And realizing like, oh, this is something I do with my friends that's fun, and there's like an educational element to it. But
if you want to be romantic.
Yeah, but it looks like to this person like I'm just being an asshole.
That's funny. I was thinking the other day in regard to what Felipe said, that is something I really did like to do a lot when I was younger. Like look at work by other young people I thought was bad and just fucking tear it open and like just every point by point, like eviscerate everything about it and every idea, and even what they were trying to do that they didn't do, even like what that they were trying to do wasn't even worth doing in the first place, like that kind of thing. Oof. And I got a lot of pleasure out of that, and it was a basis for some of my friendships, or at least an aspect of those friendships. And then I got older and was like, mostly I feel like I don't have time or energy or care to watch things that are bad anymore. Like I don't want to see something that's bad. I mean, if there's this really funny bad in some way, maybe, there's probably something out there, but for the most part, I'm like, it doesn't make me feel good to watch something that's bad. It doesn't make me feel good to talk about why it's bad. And I had to like tell that to friends of mine who I was like, oh, you're still kind of on this bender of like being really into watching bad stuff, and don't send it to me anymore. I don't really want to look at it.
Well, I think there's two different kinds of bad things, because there's like obviously the like, oh, it's so bad it's funny, but I think there's like broader categories, and like I think there are things that are bad but
interesting in the way that
right,
they're
exactly
bad.
Yes, they're bad in a specific way that stimulates something in you. And I think that's true about good stuff too. I'll tell the truth, like I liked Parasite. I thought it was good, but it didn't wake me up. Like it wasn't like what I wanted out of a movie. Like I was like, this is good, but it's fine. Like
so all that stuff they were saying about like class and stuff, like
first thing, I mean, honestly, I didn't understand anything they were saying because it was a different language. So I was watching it and I was like, this is nice, but what are they saying?
You need to wake the fuck up, actually. You actually need to wake the fuck up to some of the things that were being said in that movie.
Wake up.
No, I think the message is nice, but I think it's a beautiful message about Korea and not about here.
It doesn't, and it would be impossible to translate both the words in the movie and the meaning of it to have anything to do with.
Yeah.
It's be impossible to translate the language.
Imagine, I was in the theater watching Parasite, and I just stood up and I said, "What are they saying?"
This is nothing. I'm getting nothing out of it.
And they said, there are subtitles in the movie. And I said, my eyes are closed. So what? So what? My eyes are closed. I'm watching the movie with my eyes closed, and all I hear is Korean.
Wow. Do you wish that they still just like dubbed over voices with like American voices to do the lines?
Hello, I would like to be your daughter's music teacher or art teacher. Yeah, so I think that's true both about good things and bad things. Good thing, you know, like things can be either good or bad, but then another axis of a quality of something is whether or not it like awakens something in you. Hold on, Seth. This is interesting about in the chat that Seth says. I will say anecdotally that one of my favorite things about writing about comedy is occasionally hearing from comedians who are like, yeah, I hate this thing too, but I can't say so publicly.
Yeah, I was thinking about this a second ago as we're talking about, oh, we should talk more shit on the podcast. It's like, I'm going after Allison Roman and these celebrities for not, breaking their ranks. But also I wouldn't break ranks among people who are like our other fellow comedian peers, like if I would want to go on the podcast and say mean stuff about them. Like, those are my colleagues. And even if I don't like something they do.
And so you feed your beliefs to Seth Simons, who writes and posts about it.
Give a voice to the voiceless.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
No,
but
it's
a different power dynamic, though. Also, like, why would I go after people who have nothing? Or just like comedians who live in Brooklyn who make work for no money.
Well, I'll say one final thing about bad things that are interesting in the way that they're bad is that like those are really like pleasurable experiences, and if you can kind of be a relativist, right, and be like, okay, there's no such thing as good and bad things, just like produce an experience in you. And I don't know, you can believe that or not, but I think sometimes bad things really do produce like an experience in me that's really long lasting. There are movies I've seen at RISD senior shows that are trash, and I'll never forget them. And in that way they're really good, or they really hit on something. And I think I don't know, this is true about clowning, which is like, it doesn't matter why people are laughing at you. If they're laughing, that's enough. So it's like, if it like touched me, then it hit some nerve of truth, even if the person who made it didn't intend for that to be the case. I think that's really valuable, maybe more valuable than like a good thing that doesn't do anything, you know?
Yes. My least favorite compliment to get on a show that I have done is for someone to come up and tell me that they found it really inspiring, and it's going to like inspire them to try to do a similar thing. Because I feel like
good compliment. What the fuck are you talking
I think it's
about?
bad. I think it's bad. It's saying like what you did seemed achievable. I think I could probably do something kind of like that. And like there's something about it. I don't know how to explain. Like every time I get this compliment, it like gives me this weird feeling where I'm like, yeah, I know, amateur hour. We can all just be amateurs together. That's right. Just get up here. It's fun. We're having fun. Yeah. It's something about it. Just, I want people to be inspired, but I just feel like there's a backhanded implication to people saying that your performance is inspiring them to want to do the same thing.
But if you flip it on its head, Sarah, like the moments when I've like most enjoyed stand-up comedy are when I've like listened to comedians who are like doing a thing that I'm like, oh, I could do that. It never even occurred to me that stand-up could look like that. And now I'm seeing someone do something that's like new, and it's a thing that's like close to what I would want to do.
That's funny. That's probably how I should take it. I take it as like, well, if she can express herself, I guess I can get up there and do whatever that is.
I mean, I think that it is the case that sometimes bad things make you feel like you could do them.
Yeah, exactly.
But if that was the case, I don't think that they would come up to you to tell you that, right? Like they would only tell it to you if they felt like it was coming from a thing that you might want to hear.
Yeah, but I think sometimes people don't realize the things that they say, the meaning of it is more transparent than they realize, but they're like, this will sound nice, but I know it's actually bad to say. Yeah. But what you're saying also makes sense, Sam. It's just as well.
So, I guess I thought that this Chrissy Teigen thing would kind of carry us through the whole thing, but it seems like we kind of finished it. We kind of wrapped it up with a nice bow.
Yeah.
I think we have like 8 or 9 other things we still have to talk about.
Yeah. We got a lot of different things. But I'm nervous to say one now because after Felipe's reaction to the Chrissy Teigen thing, is like he didn't want to talk about that. So how do I know what?
I engaged with it.
But you did a great job. You did a great job.
Yeah, no. Hit us with that list of 88 topics you've written down, Sarah.
The 99 theses.
Yeah. Okay, here's one. This is like a dumb. I feel like I'm like doing an open mic or something. It's like good ideas.
Try it out.
I never unfollow or mute anyone on social media. Once I follow them, they're a voice in the course of my life forever. I never block or unfollow.
Can't relate. Next.
Really?
Yeah, I don't do that.
That's funny. I just feel like I'm like consigned to hearing what they have to say because I decided to follow them. Okay, fine. Next thing. I'm having this is a COVID thing. I've seen a couple of people in the last couple of weeks because my roommates all left now and I'm all alone. And everyone who I've like let come over here like makes this huge overture of promising to like really social distance, and then they get here and they do it for like 5.5 minutes or something before they're like, well, I could take my mask off to come inside and use your bathroom and sit in your living room and like all this stuff that I'm like, oh fuck, and then I'm too embarrassed to tell them to stop when it's happening.
I know. Can you imagine telling someone to please put on a mask when you're around me? Humiliating.
Yes,
I'd rather die.
You guys are a bunch of losers.
I'd rather die.
I'd rather die.
I'd rather have Corona shake up my little body up than.
Yes.
I don't understand how I like befriended the absolute most like pathetic, pitiful people.
Wait, hold on. Why? Because we're afraid that we were afraid to tell people to do shit?
No, because like I can't see any of you.
It's because you're too respectful. The people that I'm letting see me are like hitting me up all the time and won't leave me alone until I finally say, okay, sure.
So I need to break you down.
Yeah, exactly. But I was thinking about like, why is it that all the people that I see won't really do social distancing? And I'm like, oh, it's because the people who really would do it, like Will Needman, Will's not asking me to hang out because he's being respectful of the quarantine and I'm being respectful of his quarantine. So we're never going to see each other. But only the people who are like being really cavalier are like coming over.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Will's fucking torturing himself in this god-awful apartment with these insane roommates. And I keep asking him to hang out and he won't do it. And I'm like, everybody in Brooklyn is outside hanging out with each other right now.
Yeah, whether at a distance or like doing something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can go up to anybody, brush shoulders, get within 6 feet of anybody, and people don't like freak out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel kind of split about that. I mean, I think God knows I've had my lapses with social distancing, but
dear me,
God knows I have not been
a life
on
of
the straight
sin.
and narrow.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say?
It's funny because this gets to a question that I was gonna ask, which is, who are your top 5?
Who do we want to have in our pods?
Okay, Kendrick Lamar, top 5 rappers of all time, Jay-Z.
Yeah, I'm
Bad
thinking,
Bunny.
Like, it's gonna
Eminem.
It's gonna open up, like, the government isn't gonna be like, hey, this is over, like back to normal life. People are just gonna have to decide, like, individually
How they want to live. Yeah.
Exactly. And eventually I think people are gonna start opening up their quarantine to like more and more people, but it's going to be slow. And I'm wondering, like, once you hit that checkpoint where you're like, okay, I'm picking 5 people, who are your top 5 going to be?
Who's in the chat on the Twitch stream right now of my friends?
In front of all your friends. Yeah, Sarah, you're the only. This question only has stakes for you. Because
we got City Water Radio, Kyle Rodriguez Music, I'm the Queen, Simeo Come 3-0, Seth.
I choose.
So Kelson, Seth,
and Carly.
Sure.
So I'd say all of them.
Yeah.
Seth,
I say those people.
Seth, Kyle, Simeon.
Yeah.
Can you say those names again? Yeah, I'll do Seth, Simeon, Carly. Oh, the anime movie I was playing on the thing ended, so I'm gonna rewind it. Play it again.
Caroline says she's watching. She's just not in the chat. I'd say Caroline would be in the top 5 easily.
All of Simple
Same
Town.
for me.
All
so
simple town.
that way I could make videos.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I don't know. It's annoying. I wish that all of my friends, I've never really wished this before, but now I wish all my friends were in one big friend group so that we could like decide to be together. Instead, everybody has their own little disparate networks of like people that I don't give a shit about that they really want to see that now are like part of my health that I, in a way, that I have has no bearing on me. This is the thing I want to talk about next is Felipe, your big Twitter realization that you're having.
Yeah, totally. I'll do that.
Felipe, do you want me to set you up and explain everything first so you can kind of just come in with the home run?
Yeah, tee me up. I'm gonna play Grand Theft Auto 5.
I can tee him up.
I'm gonna play Grand Theft Auto 5 all week. Yo, okay, so and I will get to this, but the Epic Games, the developer of Grand Theft, or I mean, it's Rockstar. I don't know. Anyways, Rockstar Games put out Grand Theft Auto 5 for free. I had never played it before. I got it. So much fun. Me and Sam were just cracking up playing this game. We just like, you go to a park and there's like, because it's funny, it's like really lifelike, first of all, which is incredible. You're just in this like recreation of LA.
Sarah, don't check out.
No, don't check out. Don't check out, because I'll get to the thing. I just want to share this experience.
Do not check out.
I just want to share.
What did I say about games?
Just this beautiful experience. It's this beautiful recreation of LA. And we go to this park, and there's people sitting around in the park, like in the video game, chatting with each other. And so you go with your character, and you stand in the middle of a group of 3 people, and you just look at them, and they don't do any. It's so funny. You just create these like fake,
That's interesting.
These fake social situations. And I would just stand in front of like a couple and just like look at them and see if they would do anything. And then I would just like get a running start and just like run into them.
That's funny.
They fall to the ground and then they run away. And then when you look at the place where they've fallen, 2 huge pools of blood. It's insane. It's just funny. Anyways.
Yeah, it's funny to me that you guys are finding it so funny because I remember being a kid and people playing those games and like boys coming to school and being like, "Well, you can punch a woman in this game and stuff." Like it's so funny, haha.
Well, this is the thing.
You can't do that this time.
No, me and Sam.
No, you can't.
What's funny is playing it without all that. Sure, yes, you could go and shoot someone on the street. Like, you can do that. But you can also stand in front of someone and not let them go by and promise that you won't punch them. And
would you rather shoot someone in the street or stand in front of them and not go by? Would you rather?
I'd rather stand in front of them and not. No, I'd rather shoot them because if you stand, it's embarrassing. You look weird. You look like a freak. And then, wait, I'll say one last thing about this and I'll say the Twitter thing. One funny thing is you go into the strip club and you get a lap dance, and if you press spacebar, you touch the stripper. So I just kept making it so that he would go like this. Just like touch her like this. And she has a little bar of like how much she likes you, and the more you touch her, the more she likes you. So it's just like...
If only life could be so simple.
I know. If only women came equipped with a bar that I could look at.
Yeah. The more you touch them, the more they like
you.
The
more you touch them, the more...
No. All right, I'll tee you up for the Twitter thing. So now that Felipe doesn't have to like simp to the tastes of our politically correct woke Brooklyn comedy scene, he's become a Twitter edgelord provocateur, and he's trying to appeal to a different audience of people with edgier niche interests.
That's the most humiliating thing. Yeah. That's the most humiliating way I've heard myself be described.
Sarah, I thought you were going to go in with like a scalpel and do something very gentle and a gentle incision that the person would not notice, but instead you took a bludgeon and smacked the entire patient on the head.
Yeah, I just wanted to tee him up.
Most humiliating way I've ever been described. Well, I don't know about this whole edgelord business, but no, what I was just going to say is last week we were riding high. We'd gotten written up on BuzzFeed. 8 of our friends had listened to this podcast. I thought, hey, this is on its way. And then this week I think I was just like tweeting a lot and on the internet a lot, and I was like, this is fun. I'm having a good time. Like, this could be like a fun thing that we have and that people like maybe tune into. And then this week I just was not, just like tweeting less, feeling like I wasn't in it so much. And I thought, oh, we're just going to make another little podcast and it's just going to be fine. It's just going to be normal level. We're just going to have our friends listen. Maybe someone will hear an episode and be like, that was enough for me. Move on.
Wow. Wow. If I had known you were having such a hard time, I wouldn't have teed you up like
No.
that.
I'm not having a hard time about it. It's fun. I'm having fun. I'm having a good time, but
You're just back to reality. Yeah.
it's just that moment where you're like, do you ever feel like at one point you think I could do something great, and then one day you think, oh, I'm going to do something that's just fine. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
Yes.
dude, we've done 3 episodes.
I thought you said we could take our time to figure it out and what we were good at, and that it was okay to learn and to work.
No,
And
I
that you
mean,
weren't mad and you weren't disappointed in us.
I'm not, no. I'm not saying that this is bad. And really what matters is not the content itself. It's rather my own feeling about it. It's the feeling of like, oh, what if I'm just going to, whatever I do is just going to be fine? What if I'm going to, you learn about, there's plenty of artists throughout history who were just fine, and I think, when you're young, you're like, I'm going to be one of the great ones. And then sometimes you get a little glimpse of a different life where you're like, oh, I'm just going to be one of the just fine ones.
Yes.
And I think I was feeling a little bit, but it can also be freeing. I'm having fun. I'm having fun talking to you guys. It's fun to like, whatever, chat and stuff. But, and maybe tomorrow I'll feel like I'll be great too. Carly's saying this is devastating.
It's devastating. If you can't see us, you're listening to the recording of this, I'm frowning and I have my hand over my eyes and really feel sad.
Are you devastated? Do you feel like I'm bringing down the energy?
No, I love it. I just had no idea that you felt that way. That thought has honestly not really crossed my mind, and now I feel embarrassed because literally yesterday I was talking to Alex Bliss about having this realization that like, it embarrasses me to say this.
Please say it.
Realizing that I'm not
just as embarrassing.
Like I thought I was going to be famous for so long, and it's sort of a secretive way where I was like, oh, I know it's impossible. I know it's nearly impossible, but I think I'll still do it. And then only in the last couple of years, maybe the last year, I've been like, oh no, I'm like not going to be. And that's is okay. But just realizing that I'm not setting myself up for it doesn't make sense. Like it's a whole different way you have to live your life. The odds of it are impossible. Like that's a fact. But what you're saying is actually far. What?
I thought what you were going to say is like, I was just telling Alex Blinks yesterday that this podcast is really good.
Really good.
I'm going to be really famous because of it.
Me and Sam Felipe are doing something no one's ever done before.
I really thought that's where you were going. Yeah. I thought that too.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is I just had like a simpleton's version of your realization. Like you had a real like artist reflection, and I had like a level 1 version of it where I'm just like a child who's like, oh, I thought I was going to be on TV and maybe I'm not going to be.
No, I mean, I think they're related. And I mean, from my perspective, you being famous does not seem like outside of the bounds of reality to me. I mean, I will say that as COVID draws on longer, I'm like, I don't know if any of the things we thought were going to happen are going to happen. So that's,
sure.
So that's one thing that's apart
Christmas,
from
Halloween. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Are we going to have a hot girl summer? I don't think so. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's a related feel. It's like, yes, I guess for me, it's maybe less about fame and more about, first, how interesting you think that the thing you make is going to be, and you think maybe it will be interesting, and it's interesting because it's you. Like one is interesting to themselves. Like I believe I'm interesting because I live in my own head. I'm interesting to myself, and so I think the thing we're making is interesting, but it might not be to other people. And then you think about other people looking at you and finding you uninteresting or mediocre. And you can do that because you've seen other people be uninteresting or mediocre. And you think, wow, when I saw that thing that I thought was uninteresting or mediocre, I thought, wow, that person is worthless, doesn't deserve to live. And then you see yourself through the eyes of this fantasy viewer who thinks you're mediocre. And when you're
like, they have to hang me too.
Yes, exactly. I have no value. I'm nothing. I'm not interesting. I have nothing.
It's funny because I have a much more like sort of materialist like sort of view on this whole thing. Like I think this
like
is
just
where,
get yours, get your money, sign the contract.
No, it's like this is where I think like working in the cogs of a corporate machine can actually help your psyche, which is that it's just like it doesn't matter how good this podcast is. It's like the way it's going to get successful is like one of us will get famous, and then people will be like interested in the podcast because of like that one person's success in this other thing, and then like people will listen to the podcast, and it won't matter like what our content is. Like I think it matters a lot less.
People will endure hours of sludge.
I think it matters
trudging
much
through a bog.
The content of something is like than people actually imagine it to be, and that like and if we get better at the podcast, it will only be because like we do it more and more. Like that's how we'll get better.
I want to be clear though that it's humiliating as well to be talking about the success of the thing that we're doing right now, which we've done very few times.
It just panged my heart as well. Yeah.
I'll just say that like I think it's a broader question, right? Because we do other things. We have like other artistic pursuits, and so it's more about all of those things. As a whole, like all of those. So it's not just like, we got famous from the podcast, but like, but like more broadly, like, will we make something that's as interesting as the things we love?
That's where your like ennui was coming from, was from like a general sense of everything you were making.
I mean, it was channeled through the idea of this stream, and like more broadly, like everything that I feel like I've been doing online, which is like I'm online all the time, and I see people who like have a deal online. They have like a thing, and like people like follow them and stuff. And I was like, oh, that could be cool to be like that. And then for a moment I was like, oh no, but that won't be me, and I won't be interesting enough or whatever. So yes, it's both like specific but also broad.
Yeah. It's interesting. A few years ago, I was like at a party or something, and I was very drunk, and I was talking to someone I didn't really know, and I was upset about a similar thing, and I was trying to get this girl to convince her of like this idea that I needed it to be okay if like I didn't have any meaningful art to make, that if everything I made was trash, that and I was dissatisfied, that would still be like an okay life worth living. And she was also drunk, insisting with me, no, but you're going to make really great artwork, and it just is like made it worse and worse and worse. Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And I was like, no, but if I don't, but when I don't. Yeah. So.
I'll say we have two comments in the comments concerning what we're saying, so maybe I can read them and we can kind of react to them.
Yeah, we'll do like on YouTube when people do reaction videos to stuff. Yeah.
Wow. This person thinks I'm gay.
Seth says, what you're describing is giving yourself the permission to make something rather than assigning yourself the impossible task of making something better than all of the things that have been made.
Seth, get that on one of those quote websites.
Can you say it again?
So what Seth says is, what you're describing is giving yourself the permission to make something rather than assigning yourself the impossible task of making something better than all of the other things that have been made. So essentially it's like you're giving yourself permission to just...
you need to do.
Yes, he's saying that what we're saying is actually a positive thing, that this is a good way to think. It's not a sad thing. Yeah.
Okay.
That's insightful. I like that. It's like where I was talking about this. It's just a different narrative of the same thing. You know, it doesn't have to be, it could be a good realization.
Sure, yeah. but that's only if you think that simply making something is valuable in and of itself, and which personally speaking, yes, simply making things is valuable. It is nice, but like the end goal is to make something that's like the best things you've seen. Like I want to make something that's like, that makes me feel the way that my favorite things make me feel.
Right. Or even to me, it's not even necessarily comparative. It's just like fully satisfies the ambition for like yeah, I guess in the same way, because the ambition is based on things I've seen, the way things have made me feel, and wanting to reach that potential. Yeah.
And then, but I mean, it's true, I guess. I don't know.
What's the other comment?
Just got lost in a reverie right there.
Sorry,
Please tell me if I'm talking too much. Simeon says, I think it's more likely you will get exactly what you expect. The twist is that you realize it sucks, aka to be famous. Insightful. I vibe more with that. If Seth and Simeon
I will say
Faustian argument.
If Felipe gets famous, he will be the worst at it out of anybody.
Wow, why?
because Felipe's naturally fearful. No, I think you'll obviously take it in stride, but I just think it's funny because you are you get nervous. I think a lot about being famous must be like precisely what we were talking about with Rachel Sennett. It's like dealing with all these like horrible people who like invade your life, and I think that seems to be a thing that already gives you a tremendous amount of stress.
Just one single yikes from a friend.
Yeah, single yikes is enough to bring down the the castle of my being. Well, I mean, I think whether or not me or any one of us gets famous aside, I think the better insight of what Simeon is saying is that, like, what are you laughing at, Sam? Oh, you're just making a little grimace.
I'm just that it is this having this conversation on the podcast is also like hurting me as well.
Yes, that's why I said it's embarrassing to talk about wanting to be famous. It's not even something I have an ambition for anymore.
Are you guys cringing at yourselves? Because we can move on.
No, let's keep talking about it.
If you're cringing, I mean, I'm kind of cringing too, but I figure we're talking about it, so we might as well.
Yeah, and I think we have
to bear ourselves to our listeners.
I was just going to say that the better insight, and I think this is maybe a more humble insight, which is that, like, what matters, this is stupid, and so level one, like, it's like what anybody would tell you, but it's like, ultimately, you can be happy or unhappy, and that has nothing to do with whether you make interesting stuff or whether you're famous or not. So you could be famous and be unhappy, or you could, like, be not famous and be really happy. And I mean, I don't know if Simeon is right that one of us will get famous, but we could, and we could still be unhappy.
Yeah, I think. No, you go.
Oh, I was gonna give Felipe a quick piece of feedback on air.
Please do it, dude.
Felipe, when you say stuff like, "But I think the better insight is,"
please, yeah, go on
to take it one step further. I remember we were talking this morning and I said something and then you were like, yes, and to take that to the next level. And then you said this thing. And I think just generally as like a set of speech patterns, I think you should adopt more like, yes, and that makes me think of, or, and also it makes me think of this. I think would be a more generous way of speaking.
More likable way to talk to your friends. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, okay. Denuded on the pod.
That's funny.
Denuded on the pod.
It's very like scholarly of you to talk that way.
I'm gonna go into the kitchen and turn the oven on. I'm gonna turn the oven on and keep the oven door open now.
That's funny.
Sure, I'll think about that.
Sam, if you have any feedback for me, just throw it right over here.
Okay.
I'm feeling pretty good about myself today, so whatever you want.
What if I said, okay, give me a point, then I'm gonna revise my usual formulation. Tell me a point that you're making.
Oh.
I was gonna make the point that like at any point related to this conversation.
Yeah, make some asinine point, and I'll model what the best way to do it is.
I wanted to say that I think it's interesting that you're having this ennui and that it's related to the fact that just as you get older, you gain more information about any given thing or life experience. And so your perspective on it naturally changes.
Okay. I love you and you rock, and that idea rock, queen, but I think that you're wrong. And then I'm going to tell you why.
I liked that. That's like the third time Felipe's ever told me that he loved me. So I did.
Wow.
Get him, Sarah. I got his right flank. You got his left.
What else you got on that list, Sarah?
So other stuff we wanted to talk about. Felipe is no longer interested in the mystery aspect of crushes. He just wants to know.
I'm feeling embarrassed. I'm feeling embarrassed that it's all that these now we've had two about me in a row.
I'm platforming your views.
Open me up, Sarah. What's
all right?
Well,
I'll say this my arm looking this skinny. I wanted to talk about this. That's just an effect of the software. It doesn't really look like this.
Yeah, it's Twitch. It's Twitch enforcing hegemonic beauty standards.
Yeah. Here's a question. On TikTok, when people do those little dance videos, one, how long does it take to learn the dances? And two, is there an effect that gets put over them that makes them look more, I don't even know, dynamic or something? You know how people look when they're doing Twitch dances? They look like they're really good at hip hop dancing. Is that an effect?
I think they speed them up and slow them
good?
down. I think there's like a speed thing that's going on with them.
Okay.
You can do that, yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
No, I think you're right.
Because for weeks I was watching these, maybe even months, thinking like, man, everyone is like way better at dancing than I would have thought that they were. Especially now that all stand-up comedians have been doing TikTok dance videos. And I think just a couple days ago, I was like, oh, I bet there's something, an effect. Yeah.
I will say this though, it's hard to have put any effect on a dance and have it make it like a million times better, you know? I think you already have to be you have to know what you're doing, and the effect will give you like 10 or 15%.
You know, I mean, it's interesting that you're saying that watching TikTok videos has made you think that everyone's better at dancing than you expected, because what everybody making TikTok videos has produced in me is that I'm surprised to see how many people have like no grace or charisma.
Really? That's funny. Wow. I guess we see the world different ways.
I think a lot of people learn the dances, but I think I'm like, wow. There's a few people I've seen where I'm like, whew, you just are not, you are not
no style.
magnetic, no style.
Emotions.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even if they're smiling and stuff, it's not about smiling or anything or being like energetic. It's just like a general, like a lack of grace or awkwardness.
It's not about smiling.
Smile all you want.
Well, it's funny how dancing has become like the platform for which to deliver other things. Like when people dance in the video, they're doing TikTok dances, but they're like, the text is about like gun violence, or it's about like some conservative thing that they believe in.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, like dancing's only what gets you in, or it's just the medium for this.
Medium is the message.
Platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, and conservative people are doing slightly different movements.
Yeah. So that wasn't really on the list. That was just something that occurred to me in that moment. Let me see what else I got.
But was that one for me? Because I'm like slightly more embodied.
Yeah, Sam's dance captain of the podcast, dance expert.
Who's Siegfried's son?
No idea. Name yourself, Siegfriedson.
They said this podcast is completely different. Oh, it's Caroline. This podcast is completely different from how Sarah described it when we talked to her last. What do you mean, Caroline?
What do you mean, Caroline?
Expose Sarah. Expose her.
I have a question.
What's up?
So I was.
She said it was bits. And now we get to the heart of the matter.
Caroline, you've steered it right to where Felipe wants us.
Okay, what's a bit idea? What's a good bit?
Well, Sarah said she wanted more meaningful conversation. Or I don't want to lay it at your doorstep. It was a
lay it at my doorstep, dude.
It was a conversation we had, and I think we got to find that balance. I wanted to do a little less bits today, so no bits.
Where I settled in my heart about it, maybe we could talk about this after the show, was like, well, Felipe could just be in charge of the bits, and then you do the bits, and I'm gonna push to have these conversations, and that's all I can do. But I appreciate you accommodating me.
And I definitely dance between the two.
Yeah,
speaking one language and then the other.
I was feeling less in bit country.
Oh, because of your ennui?
No, not even. I don't know. Maybe you're feeling less funny or something. I mean, maybe I was feeling less funny.
Oh, man, I had no idea you were so sad this week.
I'm not even sad, though. I just felt less funny, that's all.
Yeah.
I'm feeling...
And you found another way to be happy that doesn't have anything to do with being funny.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I will say that although Felipe describes himself as being filled with fear for most of the day, I see Felipe maybe more than anyone else does at the moment, and there's filled with joy throughout his day.
Thank you.
Wow.
Filled with many moments of joy and interest.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. No, it's true. It's true in that the fear lives deep in my heart and I don't share it with anyone. I lock myself in my room, terrified of the world outside.
Here, Sam, did you have a question, or I have another topic, or we can say them both and then you can decide what you want to do?
Yeah, I think this one's kind of like a 5 out of 10, to be honest, but I'll do it anyway.
Mine's a 6. I think mine's a 6, so go ahead.
Okay, you go do yours.
Carol's popping off in the chat, being quite kind and also angling for fourth mic.
Whoa, for a fourth mic. Well, who got the part in the Simpletown cartoon? Was it me or was it Megan Strickland?
Maybe we'll get Megan Strickland fourth mic.
I'd love to get Megan Strickland on. Yeah,
I know. The thing is, if she got on, people would be like, just take out the three other people and just leave Megan Strickland on.
Yeah, she's
Bit City, and she
Megan Strickland. If you ever hear this, I really think you're funny and I love you.
Yeah.
Well, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I realized it's also in a conversation I was having last night. I haven't watched any of the comedy specials of like famously canceled comedians. Like I haven't seen Aziz Ansari's, I haven't seen Louis, I haven't seen like Dave Chappelle's heavily criticized one. And I'm realizing that this is developing into like a huge blind spot in the culture where like, I don't know how those people are talking about what happened to them or like what's going on. And that's like a big part of the comedy field, or like who knows what TJ Miller talks about on stage anymore, or any of these people. Like I just don't engage with their content because I don't really want to watch comedy specials anyway, so it's convenient.
I think you shouldn't worry about that. I mean, I don't know. Do you feel like you're missing out on some conversation about Louis' new special?
Don't they kind of famously not talk about it that much?
No, I think they really take it head on.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think
how much I don't know.
You don't know.
I've seen Chappelle's and Aziz Ansari's. Kind
was
of.
It meaningful?
No, I think Aziz was, the way he addresses it is like perfunctory and kind of dumb. And like he literally says, "I'm sorry she felt that way." But it's like, what are you going to do on stage? Like he can't really be like, I did that shit and it was rape. Like, that's no way to start a stand-up show.
Yeah, no. And I'm not saying that I'm worried I'm missing out on something, that they're doing something brilliant necessarily, but just like, what are they saying about it? Like, here are these people who are like still very famous comedians, very like big platforms. And I guess that maybe I'm doing my civic duty as a comedian to decide not to engage anything that they say, but I'm like, what are they saying? What are they saying?
I mean, it's just nothing interesting, But
fucking hate my daughters.
Or I don't know, there was a New Yorker article about the Louis special, I think. And the New Yorker article seemed to say that, I can't remember. I think the New York article was like, Louis doesn't have anything interesting to say about this.
All right, well then that's that. I love the New Yorker and I trust what they have to say.
I will say, subscribing to Seth Simon's blog is like, has opened me up
newsletter?
To a whole new newsletter. Thank you. A whole new like terrain of like really disgusting comedians that I like didn't even know existed, and they're like abhorrent opinions.
Yes, which you could have just not known existed.
Exactly. I didn't know these people really existed.
I don't believe in COVID.
Right, exactly. And it's got and Seth really does his work, so he like attaches all the tweets, and so you can click on the tweets and then go to Twitter and you see who they follow, and it's just like, wow, this is a whole world of comedians.
A seedy underbelly.
In New York, near on my doorstep.
Yes.
No less. And they have these abhorrent beliefs about the world.
People we know? I thought that were all people that are not like
Creek in the Cave people. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, real like Comedy Cellar type people, Creek in the Cave type people, Legion of Skanks.
Sam, you look great. You look great in your
Really?
little frame, yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
I can't see myself. I'll turn video back on.
Hmm.
Holy shit. Yeah. Thanks, Sarah.
Kind of curious about that painting and where it is and how you moved it from the room where it was and what room exactly you're in the house.
That is weird.
What room are you in? Oh, no, don't say what room you're in.
Felipe is trying to get me canceled for being... I'm in our roommate's room. He's away.
No, I'm editing that out, dude. I'm editing that out.
There's no way she's going to hear this.
I'm
She's
editing
not
that out.
interested in anything you guys have going on.
I'm
Or
editing that out. I'm editing
Doesn't
that
even know
out.
we exist. I don't think she knows Felipe and I are comedians.
I'm editing that out.
That's funny. That's funny. I thought that was your living room, Art. What is that doing in her room?
Yeah, exactly. Not only have you posted up in a room, but you put your shit in there.
I put it in my room because I had a set of client meetings this week, and I needed something behind my head to make it not look like I was in this like disgusting,
Barren.
awful place, barren place. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works for the podcast too. I'm gonna start sleeping in here.
Dang, I wish I'd done some bits. I did want to do more bits. I mean, I got dragged into, I got seduced.
I nerd you into being earnest.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I thought this was crackling conversation. I thought I was having fun the whole time.
Me too. I got some nice text messages too as this was going on. So I'm sorry that the regrets are setting in for you.
Can we go back to the Joner? I'm the Joner. Batman. It's me, the Joner.
The Joner's about the city.
The Joner. Joner, where's my girlfriend? Or is that I'm mixing up characters?
That's great.
Why so serious? It's losing steam.
You're
It's
a
losing
comedian, huh? And you call yourself the Joner. That's Robert De Niro in the most recent version.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. So you think that's funny, huh? To laugh at other people's expenses?
Hey, I'm Mark Maron. You gonna go out? What do you want us to call you when you go out? Call me the Joner.
So
losing steam.
No, I think it's great.
Sarah, jump in.
I'm gonna sit this one out, but I think it's really good, and I'm glad you did it. Yeah. Well, Sam, did you have a question that you wanted to ask? We're kind of come up on the end, so we'll open it up to audience questions. If you have any audience questions, we'll take those, and Sam can ask his question.
I guess okay. This one's about me. You guys can tear me apart here. But I was on a family call today, and I was doing a bunch of jokes about sex and stuff like that. And
about having sex with your mom?
Sam's family is really sexually liberated.
Yeah, we're very sexual.
Yeah.
And it was killing. Everyone was laughing.
Were any of the jokes about having sex with your family?
Yeah, implicit. There was kind of implied. Yeah.
Like having sex with your brother or with your sister.
I was asked them who their top. I would mention that I was like, oh, I'm gonna start picking my top 5, and then my cousin Leo was like, are any of us in your top 5? And I was like, well, you either need to be close by and my friend, or I want to have sex with you. So I don't think many of you are like making the cut, but there's still time if you want to sort of like slide into my DMs and stuff.
That's
and the whole family went ha 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 ha.
And I said, I'm sorry, that's the way she felt, but that's I saw it differently. A little callback to this Aziz Ansari bit.
Get to your point. Sam.
So my cousin Loren was like not laughing at it, and I was like, as a little bit, I was like, oh damn, like none of my jokes are hitting with Loren, and she was like, this is a family call. Like, why are we talking about sex? Like, this is so stupid. Are we gonna end like this? Like, because it was towards the end of the call.
She said that aloud.
Wow.
Yeah,
she called you out.
How dare she talk like that on a family call?
I know.
You're bringing it down, Loren.
Yeah. And it made me think, aside from all the family stuff, it made me think, oh, I do a lot of comedy about sex. And sometimes, like, there's people I love way more than Loren, people close to my life, some of my best friends, who, like, don't like the sex thing, or they're like, oh, this isn't my thing. It's cool that it's your thing, but it's not my thing. And it made me think, oh, should I work other modes of comedic language besides just like talking about sex stuff? And I had a moment of self-consciousness.
You came to consciousness.
Wow.
As Lacan would say.
And I was in a bathtub and I went,
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny. I mean, I was telling you this before we got on the air, but hearing my friends who don't know you say that they really like your Instagram and all the sex stuff on it makes me see you again with like young eyes. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Sam with this like sexy little Instagram and like the whole thing. People love it. Everybody loves it.
The eyes of a 15 or a 16-year-old.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's shocking that she would say that on the call also. Like, I just don't get that. I feel like my family sometimes has this thing of like getting together with family means taking everything that's sort of interesting or provocative or original or unique about yourself, setting that far aside, and then like coming together and just being the most sort of round-edged version of yourself with your family. So your guys' ability to be real is to be applauded.
Thank you. Well, I'll pass that message on.
I don't think I've ever made a joke about having sex with my family, though.
No, me neither. Me neither.
Well, you should.
I'm going to give that a whirl next time I'm talking to my parents.
Yeah.
Hey, I should imagine if I fucked one of you guys.
Yeah, there's no premise. There's nothing funny about it. I'm just like, hey, Dad, what if I fucked you?
That's funny. Well, did you get over your self-consciousness? You feel better again now? I mean,
no, it just made me think sometimes, and I think Will Needman's does a good job at this, which is that what would be the first joke you would make, and then just like don't do that joke, and just like strive to like always be hitting your edge, you know?
Yeah, but if it's level 2, but once you've strived enough, you arrive back at level 1.
Back at level 1.
And that's why sex jokes are funny.
Yes. And also, I think when you're in the open mic game, you realize that, like, you think you got your level 1, level 2, level 3 jokes. You try them all, and they all just work with variable, random success that you're unable to draw any kind of pattern or conclusion from. That's my feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess, like level 1, strive for your edge, meaning not in the sense for your own internal edge, like not because sex is or isn't funny, like abstracted in like the greater world, but like what would be a harder, more subtle joke for me, Sam, to make.
Yeah, but your cousin wasn't mad because you were being a lazy comedian. Your cousin was apparently offended or thought it was a stupid thing to end the phone call on. Maybe she imagined that someone in the family would get COVID, and she thought, what would it feel like if someone in our family died of COVID and the last thing we talked about was Sam fucking one of us?
That's funny. Sam, do you think that me or Felipe are people who are scandalized by your sexual stuff and that we think it's...
Yeah, Sarah, I mean, the sniper scope is right on you. Yeah.
I think...
Oh, sorry, go. Because I'm not scandalized by Sam's sex jokes, but one time, I hope I can share this, and if I can't, I'll just take it off. But one time for a birthday, Sam, you brought a group of us into a room and you got naked, and you made us like touch your body. I hope it's okay for me to share. I mean, there was like there was like a whole framing. It was supposed to be like a ritual, like it had this like sort of satanic joking thing. But you did get naked, and I thought. I was fine with it, but I thought, oh, this is a thing that I'd be nervous to do myself. I don't know if all these people would be fine with it.
And brother, that's why you're going to be bad at being famous, because you're going to have to do shit like that.
You're going to do this shit like that.
Get naked and make people
time.
touch me?
Yeah.
Once you're famous, dude, if you want to keep it going.
Exactly, dude.
You totally
you're going to get an invite to that damn island.
Yeah, fuck.
Do shit like that.
Yeah, it's true. Yes. Exactly. Once I get on the plane with Epstein.
Well, Sarah once DM'd me and said, enough about your sex stuff. Like, I'm going to not stop looking at your stories if you do sex stuff. And it made me think, okay, like I can switch it up sometimes.
Yeah, I was just kidding.
No, of course you were kidding. But, there's what's funny about it is there's like a kernel of truth in it.
We're nearing the end.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
we could leave it with Felipe talking about getting on Epstein's plane and sign off.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we'd done more bits. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna think about the Joner a little bit more, but I think that might be its lifespan. Wow. And you know why? It's because it's a bit that has no truth in it. It's a funny name, but there's no truth at the center of the bit.
Why so serious? I mean, it's funny. The truth is using an N instead of other letters. Yeah,
it's
true.
That's
funny. Man, well, this sort of gets at the heart of our conflict then, because I had such a wonderful time.
No, I had a good time too. And in fact, often I feel like my bits feel forced. So, it'll be like a long process of kind of exploring and then arriving at something that feels just fine. in terms of quality.
Next episode, tune in next Sunday. We're going to do 90 minutes, all bits, nothing sincere.
Just looking at Sarah's bewildered face as me and Sam search through nonsensical,
slowly stumble through
totally forced, disgusting jokes.
Yes, and yes, and yes. Yeah.
Caro says that if she got fourth mic, she could bridge these worlds. She could bridge the bit world and the earnest. Not untrue.
My worlds, we don't let bridges lay down over our walls.
Not untrue. She definitely could. Should we start having guests?
No, we have to do like 40 more of these.
Yeah, we're still training, dude. I'm still trying to get strong.
I mean, yes and no. I think you're either like you're either a PCast that it's just the people on it, or you have guests all the time. I don't know if it's like you rev up the 3-person engine and then you get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
I don't know. These are arbitrary limitations. Boundaries that I've put on this that come from nothing because we could decide to do whatever we wanted.
Well, we'll talk about this off mic.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna put the Rugrats dubstep on again and say goodbye.
Thank you all for listening to BuzzFeed's award-winning improv podcast.
15th best podcast.
15th best podcast during quarantine to brighten your day. Hope you're cheered up a little bit. Cheered up from that. We're just trying to cheer you up. Okay, goodbye.
Wow, someone sent me a message on Tinder.
Saying what? That they listen to the show?
Let's find out. They said they thought they saw me in Park Slope, but I didn't. But they decided it wasn't me.
Wasn't.